Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our evening edition of Big Brother 22 All-Stars live feed spoilers. It is day 8. We are at the end of the day now where, unless something absolutely insane happens over the next 24 hours, I think we have a sense as to where things are going.
Yeah, things feel like they're pretty locked up.
Yeah, these are all-stars. These are not... We're not dealing with a bunch of Devons who are going to be super impulsive and change their mind every 5 seconds.
Yeah, no.
It is kind of a trait of a good Big Brother player that they are cautious, which isn't always exciting TV, but they're going to take their time to make their decision.
For sure.
We're going to talk mostly about the live feeds in this video. We'll talk about a couple of things we kind of learned from the episode tonight where people really stand, because it's good to get that clarity here and there, but we got a lot to dive into here. So before we get into it, if you do like this video, give us a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and also if you do want to support us more, check the links in the description to our store, to our Patreon. Thank you so much to everyone who has been signing up for that. We appreciate it more than we can ever really try to say here.
So one of the things that we learned from the show tonight is that Enzo and Cody are really a final two. And for a long time, it was feeling like Cody and Tyler had sort of like, hey, we're going to run the house together. Yeah, of course we're going to. But this is the final two. They have an alliance name, so it's official stamp on it. They are called the Root.
Are they the root of all evil? Evil? I don't know. That's what it made me think of.
Yeah, they could be. I don't know.
The Root, is it a good name or is it a bad name?
I'm okay with it. I'm lukewarm on it. It's fine. It's not anything where I'm just like Faute, which I thought was like really awful. It's not anything I'm like, man, that's really good. But no, it's fine. It makes sense. I mean, if for a couple reasons, because they're the root of the whole sort of plant that's going to grow,
Yeah.
but also they're both from the same place, so their roots are both in the same place.
It is better than the Core 4, another alliance name that is downright ghastly.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Or the alliance that is currently kind of called the Usual Suspects, that they're not going to allow be called that, so I'm still calling it the Blob Alliance. So that is where we are. We learned about the Root. Officially, this is where Cody's head is at right now. So we know if he's talking to Nicole F., if he's talking to other people, Enzo seems to be kind of his home base for now. All right, the other big news, this didn't really surprise me, but it's good that it's kind of official that Nicole F's top allegiance does seem to be Cody, which can be in for a real rude awakening here because it's not the same for Cody. And Ian is more of a backup plan for her.
That was actually, for me, that was actually surprising. And the reason why is they both felt very much on the same page about understanding that they do need to take another winner to the end, and they are the only two in the house. I mean, even she was explaining it exactly the way that it's going to play out. Are they going to give somebody a 2-time win over somebody who's never won before? Unless you play a perfect game. And so far, Nicole F is not playing a perfect game. They are not going to give it to you. It's just not going to happen. So Ian should be the person you want to go to the end with. It's the smarter move.
I'm going to make a hot take here, and this is only day 8. I think unless Nicole F. plays one of the best Big Brother games of all time, I do not think she's winning this season. I think Ian beats her. I think Cody beats her. I think she might be able to beat David at this point, because it seems like nobody really has very much respect for David's game in there. But I don't think that there's a lot of people she's going to beat, because she's got some allies, but she's somehow managed to burn a lot of people, and the game has barely even started.
Okay, let's talk about some people that don't want to burn Kevin. So
yes.
Kevin and Janelle had a talk here where she made it really clear she wants to work with him. She loves him and she loves Keisha, but she kind of is feeling it out and doing some damage control over here. And, I think he heard what she had to say, but Kevin is adaptable. I know I've said this, but he is. So depending on who's got that HOH, if it's Janelle, yeah, man, we're Team Janelle. If it's somebody else, yeah, he's moving over here. And that is why he's been able to go so far in his last game.
I love everything about this Kevin and Janelle conversation that happened this afternoon, because they were both being very nice, I think they were both also potentially being very fake. And so it was just really, like, I do hope they find a way to work together moving forward. But if you're Kevin, of course you're probably going to have some animosity that it feels like Janelle doesn't want to really keep you. And I know Janelle says to him in this conversation that she's sort of leaning towards keeping him around and that she'll look after him and all of this. But I don't know how much you believe this if you're Kevin at this point, given all of the scuttlebutt going on in this house.
That's why I think for Kevin, because he's so adaptable, a lot of what they're talking about right now is going to be dependent on who wins this next HOH, and that's how he's going to kind of go with the flow, which is how you need to be in this game. You can come in with whatever plans you want, but they are going to change whether you want them to or not.
I wish we had some sort of indication on what the next HOH competition was going to be. Like, the feeds were down at various points today. I thought maybe it was going to be like some training apparatus or clues or whatever. Well, maybe we'll do an HOH prediction tomorrow. But we got nothing right now when it comes to clues or anything else.
So Janelle also kind of made like a joke that probably had a little bit of truth in it. I mean, to kind of test the waters and see where Kevin's maybe landing on this, where she asked Kevin for his safety suite +1 if she keeps him. And he said that he's not that easy. So, I mean, I think that it was, like I said, put out there as a joke, but, you know, it's not really a joke if he says yes.
This is, I don't know if this is a joke, a serious joke. Like, I don't know why Janelle did this, because it really feels like, why are you going to, number one, put this guy on the spot, which I'm pretty sure he doesn't appreciate? And also, do you really think this is going to work, Janelle? Was he really going to be like, yeah, I'll for sure say this?
Yeah, for one vote. There are so many other votes in the house right now. He doesn't need to give up something that valuable for one vote.
I will say this. I love every single thing about Janelle putting this out there. This is why I love Janelle as a Big Brother personality.
You have to try, man.
She tries and she does a lot of things that aren't necessarily great, but in a house that's full of people who are really just like, no one's talking game. I don't know. It's like, it's great to just have somebody being like, give me your safety suite +1. Like, just come on. I want more of that.
No, it was good.
Okay, so Janelle is sort of shifting her strategy in general at this point, where it was very much her sort of like subtly, trying to get people to keep Keisha around, and now it's sort of like, I'm fine with either person staying. I can sort of make and it's relatively transparent, I think, to a lot of people. Janelle's got some danger that is going to come her way once Keisha probably inevitably goes. But she's trying. I would much prefer her to try than her to not try and go down with the Keisha ship.
Okay, let's talk about Keisha a little bit. So KAYSAR has now sort of let Keisha know that it's not looking good for her. I mean, I don't know. Again, like some of these things that KAYSAR's doing, I'm not really sure if it's worth it or not, because if she doesn't stay, then, this isn't jury management at this point, probably.
Remember earlier today when KAYSAR and Janelle were like, let's wait to tell Keisha about her fate until like 10 minutes before the eviction?
Yeah, and that should have kind of been the way it is.
KAYSAR couldn't make it past a few hours before he's basically like, oh, by the way, you might be going home.
Well, it's lit a fifth fire under her, because she has sort of said each thing that's come up, it's been like, oh, now there's a fire under me. Oh, well, now there's a fire under me. So now she's campaigning more around the house. It's just not going that great. I really think she's done.
Yeah, I think Keisha's a goner unless either she has some sort of miracle campaign or someone else manages to do that. But Janelle and KAYSAR have kind of already indicated at this point they're not going down with the Keisha ship. They are jumping off. They are going to try to find another way in the game. And, KAYSAR and Ian and others have indicated to Kevin at this point that he has their vote. And I love, by the way, how Ian does this, because Ian, he can never just kind of like halfway do something. Yeah, we talk about the Mike Ehrmantraut rule of no half measures.
That's right.
He really follows this rule because Ian is just like, I don't care if it is 12-1 and I am the only one. You have my vote, Kevin. You don't really have to go to this big of an extreme, Ian.
No, but we know that that's true. I mean, Ian's vote is really important to him, and he will vote the way he wants. He is not always the guy who's like, oh, just go with the house, like a lot of people do.
Yeah, good on Ian. I appreciate Ian on this season, but I like how they talked about Ian in the hammock on the episode, but
Yeah.
they didn't show the Ian running into the hammock with slow motion music, which I felt like was I would have taken that over whatever they showed tonight of Enzo and that banana, which I hope that I never see again.
So Devon and Nicole F are kind of frustrated that Keisha waited so long to sort of get out here and campaigning, and like, I'm there with them. I'm really frustrated with it too. I mean, when I heard she was going to be on the season, I was really excited. I don't know what is going on. Like, it feels like I don't know, not that she's defeated, because she's not. She is out there doing stuff, but like she was just too comfortable.
I think she was too comfortable, and I think really she was too tentative. I feel like she thought because this is All-Stars, everyone is playing sort of a cautious game. You want to try to be cautious yourself. You don't want to play your cards too much too early. But once you're on the block and it's the very first week and you don't know a lot of these people, I think you have to start playing a little bit harder because, yeah, it could have blown up in her face.
Yeah.
But if you don't try, you don't know. And she
Yeah.
just didn't try for days on end.
Like Janelle asking for the +1. If you don't put it out there, you don't get it.
Yeah, and, Janelle's not going to get this, but ultimately, it doesn't matter. Like, watch her actually get this now. It would be the most hilarious thing of all time.
You never know, man. The weirder things have happened in this game.
That is true. There have been weird things that have happened in Big Brother. Like, there is still a chance that even if Janelle and KAYSAR don't win HOH, we know that they're in trouble, but they might still end up not being put on the block. Like, I know Nicole F. is terrified of this thought that America's going to vote somebody back in, and it's going to be Janelle, and maybe Lawan will bless her with superpowers when she re-enters the game.
Well, that's why I said sort of half jokingly about the idea, that Keisha may, he's not fighting for a jury vote.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, we don't know that she might come back in. We don't know if there is some sort of like battle back coming back in and then she makes jury and then he blew it, right? You just don't know yet.
There is so many uncertain variables because CBS, like they did preseason, they're not really giving much away at all.
No.
But let's talk here about Operation Pump Up Janelle's Ego. I don't know if this is like a plan that Enzo had going on today. I don't know if this is just something that he legitimately felt like, but there's this conversation with Enzo and Bailey and Janelle where they're just like talking about how legendary she is and how valuable she is and how Enzo doesn't want to be that chump that like gets rid of someone who people really want to watch, and it leads to Janelle talking about how she didn't want to target Chilltown on All-Stars, and it's like, okay, I don't know if you're really meaning any of this, but you are like trying to inflate Janelle to this like other level, and I'm pretty sure she already knows that she's beloved.
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, Bailey has said that she wouldn't mind working with Janelle, so I don't think that it's not genuine with her. I think that is something that she feels, that a lot of us feel. Janelle is a legend, so you walk in there and she's there. I can see why Bailey would be like, oh man, okay, I want to play the game with her. Enzo is more interesting though, because we know that he is part of the root now. He's part of the root.
Yes.
So we know that that's not where his allegiance is going to lie, but making some sort of inroads with Janelle right before HOH is being played is very smart. And this is why I picked Enzo as my winner's pick, because he is very good at this of, pumping people up, and maybe he didn't do as good of a job, or maybe it felt a little not as genuine this time, but he's usually very, very good at making people feel good, like, with him.
I'm going to do my impression of what Enzo should do at this HOH tomorrow. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's say it's a question and answer. He hears Julie do the question. Buzz, wrong answer, eliminated. You throw this so fast if you're Enzo. You do not need to win this. I especially think while Janelle is in the house, because the way that he talked about her today, like she is his legend and that he wants to work with her, she is not going to be happy if he betrays her at this point. Like, he really kind of made it past that point where I don't know what to call this, the point of bitterness, where you're gonna make somebody either angry or bitter or whatever. I don't think he can be in a position right now where he burns Janelle this early in the game.
Yeah, I mean, he went a little overboard to the point that I think she probably feels a little more comfortable with him around, that there might be a little bit of trust that can be built there. So I think he needed to pull it back a little bit.
Yeah.
Just kind of say, Janelle, I really respect your game. You are a legend. I'm really super glad you're here. Let's just talk about some other stuff to try to build something. But that's not kind of where it went. So I do agree. I think that it could get to that point that if he wins and then puts up Janelle and Janelle does not go home, Enzo is in huge trouble.
Throw the challenge, Enzo. Just throw the HOH. You don't need it. Nobody's coming for you right now.
Okay, so there was also this Facebook debate that was going on where there were questions that were sent in and Houseguests got to answer them and stuff like that, which was kind of interesting. I don't remember them doing something like this, but to be fair, I'm not on Facebook, so,
It was weird. It was really, really weird. It was just let's sit everybody down. Here, guys, answer these generic Big Brother questions.
Yeah, so one of the questions was, what's your favorite season to KAYSAR? He said season 16. He was asked about who he thinks has the best DRs. He said Paul. So there's that.
KAYSAR has seen as many seasons as the diary room or production gave him before this. KAYSAR has clearly not seen enough. Somebody needs to go and deliver KAYSAR after this season. Give him Big Brother 10 or 14 or 17. I know CBS loves Big Brother 16 more than life itself, but also Paul over Brittany Haynes
or Davon.
Yeah, okay. Paul had his moments in season 18. I'm not trying to dogpile Paul, but there's only so many times you can say friendship.
Agreed.
Yeah, also, KAYSAR should know a lot about the friendship. He dealt with them on Big Brother 6.
Right?
Come on, KAYSAR.
Yeah.
All right, well, we don't need to talk anymore about that Facebook thing. It was weird, but this concludes this edition of Big Brother 22 All-Stars. Live feed spoilers. We're going to have a busy Big Brother day tomorrow. We'll have more from the live feeds. We'll be talking about, obviously, the eviction, the HOH. We'll go through some plans. There's a lot going on, so I hope you guys are subscribed. I hope you check us out tomorrow morning. We'll be back. But for now, what do you think is going to happen tomorrow on the eviction show? And also, we put up a poll earlier about who you think should go.
Yeah, and that's on our community board, so I guess there's a community tab or something. Just click on that. The poll is there. Tell us who you think is who you want to see go home.
Yeah, and if you like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and support us further. Check those links in the description to the store, to our Patreon, and we'll see you here next time.